whiskey lovers, and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. And today I would like to take you all the way to Dalwhinnie, one of the most remote distilleries in Scotland, because it can be found in the Grampian Mountains at a height of 326 meters. So it's a bit of a solitary distillery, isn't it? And I've had the good fortune of visiting that distillery in September of 2010. The village of Dalwhinnie also has the reputation of being the coldest of Scotland. What a reputation that is. The average temperature per year is a mere 6 degrees Celsius. Ooh, that's cold. Anyway, so when it was founded in 1898 by George Seller, John Grant and Alexander Mackenzie, they chose that location not only for its remoteness, but also because it was next to the big travel route, the big trade route between Inverness and Edinburgh. So they wanted that location not only for the route, but also because they had a tremendous amount, ubiquitous amount of crystal clear water that they got from the well that was at 620 meters height in the Grampian Mountains. So they had everything that they needed to produce and ship their whiskey. It was also the first Scottish whiskey to get in the hands of Americans, because it was once bought, I believe that was 1905. It was bought by the American distillers Cook and Bernheim. Now, the Scotch were a bit fearful that the Americans might get a bigger foot in Scotland in the whiskey industry. So by 1926, DCL, the Distilleries Company Limited, the forerunner of today's Diageo, bought back Distillery Dalwhinnie from the Americans to make sure that, you know, Scotch whiskey should be in Scotch hands. Now, the Dalwhinnie distillery is not very well known, but despite the, well, it is well known, but it was not well known until Diageo released their Classic Malts series, because the Dalwhinnie 15-year-old is the representative of the Highland style in that Classic Malts lineup that Diageo launched so many years ago. And despite the remoteness of the distillery, it has a beautiful visitor centre, which I visited, and they get around 25,000 visitors per year. I'm quite certain that the fact that Dalwhinnie is in the Classic Malts lineup has a lot to do with that. If you're travelling from, say, Glasgow to, say, you know, Speyside, the Elgin, or in that neighbourhood, you pass it by anyway. And when you're driving up there, you can see it on the roadside, and you're like, oh, what is that? What a beautiful distillery over there. Let's take this exit and make a short stop, which is what we did as well. So you've got no excuse not to visit Dalwhinnie. 25,000 other people join you every year. Today I would like to try the Dalwhinnie 15-year-old, which is a very, it's their entry-level malt, but it's also their first whiskey, and it's the one that you can easily obtain even in supermarkets. It's very friendly priced, so this is, you know, it's easy to come by, and therefore often a bit an underrated whiskey, and therefore I thought it was a good idea to try it for you and see what it does for us. So the Dalwhinnie 15-year-old is bottled at 43% ABV. It's a bright sunlight to light golden. Nice. Oh, very fruity and very grainy. You get the malt here, some breakfast cereals, and loads of citrusy fruits. Also some peach, vanilla, and very, very honeyed. It's honey sweet with a small prickle in there. There's even a hint of peat, all the way in the background, slightly phenolic. It's not a big nose, but it's very, very inviting. On the palate then. It's quite feisty though, even though it's only 43%. Woo! Yeah, fiery and feisty. Again, big lemony notes, cereal notes, huge honey notes in there. This is creamy and malty. It's honey sweet, but it's big, I have to say. I get some roasted nuts as well, sprinkled with sugar. And the sweetness mid-palate evolves into a slight bitterness, as if from tangerines, or maybe it's the oak speaking. But it evolves into a slight bitterness, not over the top, luckily. And that bitterness continues on into the finish, which is, I have to say, rather short, slightly bitter, and a bit grassy actually. But it's not bad at all. This is a good middle of the road whiskey. This is a good representative of the Highland style. Like I said, easily obtainable, friendly priced. It says here on the label, the gentle dram, and that is basically what it is. Despite the attack, then it softens up immediately and becomes the gentle dram indeed, and a good representation of what a Highland style single malt should be like. Dalwhinnie, 15-year-old. Recommend it. You should give it a try. This is a very nice whiskey indeed. And that's it for this Whiskey Rambling, and I hope to see you again at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. Until then, you know the drill. May the malt be with you. Bye-bye.